Hey guys, welcome. Welcome aboard if you're brand new. Welcome back if you're not, and welcome home if that fits for you. Today, we want to talk about what's coming up for Libra in 2024. So this will apply to you if you are Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or Venus, And also, I do want to add, this also applies to you if you're watching for someone that you know or love who is a Libra. I am a big fan of the cross-watcher stance. I think that the more information we have, the better off we are. So we're going to talk about what's coming in for 2024 in terms of a little bit of astrology and a little bit of energy. We're going to work through your theme for the year, some blessings for you, some awarenesses. We're going to draw cards for every quarter, and then we're going to, at the very end, pull a card for the unknown. So that would be, what's coming in terms of an insight or something that you might not see or something that you might not expect, so that you have a little bit of information behind you. So you start off with strength in your gifts. I like that. So let's talk about your astrology too. So the Libra season starts on the 23rd of September this year. You have a new moon on October the 10th and a full moon on March the 24th. Venus is in your sign at the end of August this year. And of course you have the South Node traveling backwards, of course, from 20 to 1 degree of Libra this year. So that's kind of exciting for you guys. It's always nice to have that kind of Libra energy moving through with that Venus transit, Venus without a retrograde season this year. So just kind of keep that in mind around the middle, nice, of our season. Wow, you know what? Somebody else got that, I think, too. I don't remember who, but I'm pretty sure that somebody else got that. So I like that. My Libra friends. So you also have, let's talk about what's in opposition for you. You have Chiron and the North Node, of course, opposing your sign. Chiron is direct now, but Chiron has been in Aries for a while, and so that pulling on that oppositional energy gives you an opportunity to kind of come into balance with some of the things that might be active in your life in terms of the way that you're moving through a lesson or some learning, a healing part of your journey, or really the way that you're claiming your health and wholeness, right? So I think it's important for those of us with strong Libra placements, I include myself there, to make sure that we're really navigating our own work, and also, most importantly, make sure that the story that we're telling this year is that story of health and wholeness, right? It's very important. It's very important for us. So let's talk here. So in themes, we have strengthen your gifts, right? So that's a beautiful energy, especially for, for this year. This is 2024 is going to be an interesting year for everyone. Energetically speaking, astrologically speaking, there's a lot going on. I love that we also have a blessing of believing in magic, right? True magic is abounding in my life. Well, guess what? True magic is always abounding in your life. It's about how you're stacked up to receive it. It's about how you're positioned to witness it. So just make sure, and whatever gift it is that you're going to choose to work on this year, to strengthen this year, just make sure that the way that you're serving it is always in alignment for you. You definitely want to make sure that everything is feeling that you have that whole green light panel, right? That if there's a hesitation, that needs to be addressed before you move forward with any kind of energetic as a yes, right? simply because if it's not a full yes, then it's a no. And that's kind of the way that those speak to me. Also, we have the second house, resources here. This is an important house for Libra, right? So the second house is a Taurus house as well, and so that is that sign falls under our ruler, right? Venus co-rules Libra and Taurus, and so this is all about that sensual experience, right? It's all about our relative positions to resourcedness and the way that we, let's say, choose to make sure that we have the things that we need. And that Libra energy, right, as we sit right above that descendant in the 7th house, that's where we begin to work with the energy of the other. And so if we're highlighting here this second house of resource, this is I believe, because this is an awareness, right? So this is about making sure that all of those things that you're doing are not depleting your own state, right? So making sure that you can give, but make sure that you're giving from that full state. And if you're not renewing yourself, and working on strengthening your gifts and witnessing what the magic of abundance is all about, then you're going to end up in a worse place than you started. And guess what? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that, especially not in 2024. That's not what we're doing in 2024. So that will be a hard no. So the way that you're going to build, right, perhaps a foundation is important to understand. And so how that comes in is, what is it that you're going to strengthen, and why, right? Where are you going to call in your magic, and why? And how did you do that, right? How did you learn to do that? And what skills have you developed over time? And remember, we have the South Node in our sign all year long. And so witnessing what your innate gifts are, witnessing what your innate talents are, and then adding to them, right? That's definitely part of the magic that will be 2024. So just make sure that you're I don't want to say in reclamation, because I think you already know that these are your gifts and talents and skills. But I think that the way that you're going to choose where to invest yourself, where to invest your energy, where to invest in your own magic is going to make a whole bunch of difference for you this year, right? And it's absolutely okay to be judicious with your energy, and that is on all levels. It doesn't just have to be in the 3D, right? And in fact, we're getting that this is more than 3D. This is all those levels. This is the levels where resourcing comes into tangible or intangible, right? Where it's capital V value or small v value, right? It can be the things in your hands or those things that create you. You know, how you are valued, how you claim yourself as worthwhile. So that's really the magic, where you witness yourself as the event horizon between those realms, and the way that you choose to stand in both places, right? Kind of that spiritual bilocation, claiming both the 3D as well as the other, the imaginary, the etheric, you know, all of those other intangible kind of realms. So yeah, where you are your own event horizon, and where you choose to double down in that kind of realm in order to build, right? You can build in both places at once, by the way. You don't have to limit your growth to either tangible or intangible. You can choose to grow in all the ways. That's the magic, right? True magic is abounding in my life. That's what it says. All right, let's talk about these quarters. So in the first quarter of 2023, 2024, we have the Four of Cups, the Eight of Swords, and the Seven of Pentacles. So there might be a little disengagement. There might be a little kind of spinning in neutral. And what I want to say about that is you have options here. And that's why we talk about this energy coming in beforehand, right? So if we're going to choose to witness what's coming on this scale, if we're choosing to witness perhaps a little bit of looking away, perhaps a little bit of almost dissociation, right? That Four of Cups is kind of where we disengage, where we say, I'm not so sure, maybe this isn't for me, right? Well, guess what? You get to make those choices, because again, if it's not a full go ahead, then it's a no, right? And so we have the Eight of Swords here that warns us, right? If you're not feeling it all the way, just stop, and instead choose to wait, right? Because waiting sometimes will bring you something better, right? This is a don't settle quarter. The way that you will choose what you're going to invest in. And here's your warning, which is if you move ahead in a way that doesn't feel good, you're going to feel bound by that. You're going to feel stuck by it. And no matter how many cups come at you, right? No matter when the cup flies out of the universe on its way to you, you're not going to be engaged in it. So the first quarter for us, my Libra friends, is all about really navigating the why, right? So if you have to take the whole quarter to be in that state of, let me identify where this is a yes and that's a no. What does that feel like in my body, right? How can I hone my magic? How can I strengthen my gifts? How can I really take all of these signals between my physical self and my non-physical self and work them into a system that I can recognize, work them into a process by which I understand what messaging I'm getting, by what I'm receiving, by where my resonance really engages. Take your time. Take your time. You're not in a rush. There's no hurry, right? You're not on a deadline. If you take a quarter to invest yourself in your own personal signaling system, you're not losing anything, right? You're gaining in the long run. So this is an investment quarter, the first quarter for you. And the danger is that if you make choices too soon, if you jump in too quickly, not only will you not love it, but you might be stuck with it, right? So it's better to kind of say, okay, I get it. And my power is in my choosing. My power is in the patience I have to really use my discernment. So that first quarter is all about discernment. Just be in that, right? Be okay with it. Be okay with it. That second quarter comes in with the Five of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Queen of Swords. So as we build on this, right? So Five of Swords is a card where we have conflict. We have a little bit of disagreement. And, I like to talk about this as the card of Pyrrhic victory. And what that means is I want to win. I want to be right. And I need to be right at any cost. Now, for a Libra, this is something close to unthinkable, because we're always looking to manage our relationships, right? So if you've jumped the gun in the first quarter, you might have a consequence to that in the second quarter, and you might not love it. You might not love it, or you may come against some conflicting ideas as you're in patience, right? You might come into some self-disagreement or some self-doubt, right? And that's okay. That's okay. Just remind yourself why you're waiting. Constantly be in that. I'm going to know when the time is right. My whole being will give me that answer because I'm working on strengthening my gifts. And I understand that magic is part of this process. Magic is my most valuable resource, right? Your magic is your most valuable resource. And so don't worry that. Instead, when this Knight of Cups comes charging in with that right thing sometime in this second quarter, Libra, recognize it. And here's the deal. You have the Queen of Swords down here. Miss No Nonsense herself. Miss I have the sword of truth, and I absolutely know how to use it. And look, my discernment is fully online, right? We don't have any reason to call out conflict. We're just going to trust this process and understand that when that thing shows up, when whatever it is that we're going to be in on shows up, and you'll know it, right? You'll know it when it comes, that everything else will fall away. There will be no need, and you'll understand why you've been honing your discernment for the entirety of the beginning of 2024. And when this drops for you, it's going to be amazing, right? It's going to be heartfelt, and you're going to be like, oh, that's what it felt like. I understand now. I understand why I didn't jump at that or that or that. I understand how I got here, and I understand why it was so important to wait. Let me just move all this over here, because this is the way we're going. So third quarter, this is primarily your quarter here. So this is when we have Venus in our sign. This is when we have the sun in our sign. This is when we have our new moon, right? So here's the deal. We've got the 2 of Cups, the 5 of Cups, and the 10 of Pentacles. So this, the second half of this year is all about it, Libra. So your patience will pay off, right? Do your work in this first half of the year and know that what's coming is coming, right? So you have the 2 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles. This is all about being seen and seeing someone else. And again, we're talking about Libra energy. So this concept of the other is fully present to every relationship in your life. It can be an intimate relationship. It can be your family. It can be your kids. It can be your boss, your neighbor, your coworker. It doesn't matter. But this is about beneficial, mutually beneficial relationships, right? Where you are honoring the other person and they are honoring you. You also have the 10 of Pentacles down here, which is all about building on that foundation, right? And witnessing what comes in as your resourced self. And so the way that you have put your energy into this creation all year is really going to come in, not just in your personal relationships, but also in your 3D life, right? We talked about how you are the event horizon between the tangible and the intangible. This is when that comes to pass. Now, here's your warning for this 5 of Cups. Do not spend so much time fretting about having had a slow beginning to the year, or having paying attention to what you've lost, right? If you start looking back, you're going to come right back to this place. You're going to come right back here. But if I had, right? If I shoulda, I woulda, I coulda, all of those things, right? Don't get stuck in that feedback loop of regret, right, or sadness here. Make sure that you're paying attention to the work you've done and honoring the results that you're creating, the magic that you've called in, and the gifts that are being activated here in this third quarter. This is the key to your fully resourcedness, right? And you've got it. I mean, it's all right here. Resist every urge to look back, right? These 5s are all about the way that you choose to carry something forth into the present that might not belong there. So the more willing you are to release those, let's call it, what's the right word? Harmfully nostalgic, right? I don't want to say like, you know, you're wallowing in regret or you're wallowing in your sense of loss, but like harmfully nostalgic. Okay, we'll call it that, because you've got the 4 of Cups, the 8 of Swords, and the 5 of Cups here. These are deeply, and the 5 of Swords too. Like these are all about if only, right? But if I woulda, if I coulda, if I shoulda, right? Those things. Instead, you've got the 10 of Pentacles, you've got the 2 of Cups, you've got the Knight of Cups. What on earth do you have to look back and say you're sorry about, right? As we move through these cycles, you have the opportunity to witness what comes in as that next right thing, as that next right layer of magic. As I open this door, I welcome what's here, without having to feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have this thing that I used to have. Well, if you focus on, but I have this or better, right? I have these 2 cups. I have these 2 cups right here. What the heck am I looking at these 3 spilled ones for? So in that third quarter, just make sure that you're really maintaining your presence within your process, okay? And then in that final quarter, this is the biggie here, right? You got 2 majors, the Lovers and the High Priest, and then you got the Knight of Wands. So this is movement, right? Movement on the lesson. This is about divine choices, really learning to trust your intuition and up-leveling this energy into something more, something deeper, something wider. So here, this might be a 3D relationship. Well, this is the next level of that relationship. This is where it becomes spiritually deep and wide, spiritually connected. As you have the High Priestess down here, this is really about being divinely connected and witnessing the deeper union available. So all this year is about really creating that presence and really minding your magic and allowing yourself to be without need for self-deprecation or self-doubt, the word is pettiness. That's really what wants to come out. To be in your highest and in your best, right? And that's what will be rewarded at the next level if you can manage to really stay on top of that wave and do that work through this through these first couple of quarters. It might not feel great, right? It might feel a little echoey. It might feel a little bit lonely. That's okay, Libras. That's okay. Because the rewards, right, are going to be so huge. This Knight of Wands says, gosh, everything about this end of the year is going to be on fire for you, right? Your passions are going to be engaged. You're going to be so deeply motivated and devoted to this next phase, this next level. And you're going to be so deeply foundationed, right? You'll really have it all if you can just kind of maintain your progress through the first couple of quarters. Let's see what your unknown card is. Ooh. Birds of a feather. Okay. All right. Let's see what our keywords here are. Birds of a feather. Key concepts. Oh, nice. Sharing, community, a sense of belonging, fellowship with like-hearted people, understanding the concept of we before me. Well, look, my Libra friends, could that be any more accurate for us? I don't think so. So again, right, what we talked about, it might feel a little echoey, but trusting that the right things will be activated in your on your behalf, right? So let's read what this has to say. Have you ever wondered how people naturally gravitate to one another and discover a surprising intimacy and connection? There is a kind of magnetic energy, like an invisible ray of light, that pulls people together to form something beautiful that can be shared, right? That's lovely, by the way. As in the saying, birds of a feather flock together, it comes from an instinctual need for belonging. We need community to survive, to thrive, and grow. We humans are social creatures after all, and none of us are meant to be alone. The concept of belonging is playing an important role in your life currently. Perhaps you recently found yourself in a group where you knew you were in the right place. Trust those strands of connection for now. What you will find is a deeper and more expansive way to look at the world by baring yourself to others and sharing ideas, hopes, and dreams. So the bottom line is getting to know yourself in this first half of the year, doing that self-reflexive work, really strengthening your gifts and witnessing your own magic, right? We as Libras always have that longing, that yearning for that deeper sense of connection. And so this is a year of preparation, right? Really getting in line with, again, your own personal messaging system, the things that you want, the things that you don't want, witnessing what your resources are. And that doesn't mean like how much money I have in the bank. This means, what do I have in my heart? What do I have in my heart? And what do I want in terms of what do I want to offer? What do I want to have witnessed? Where do I want to be met? Right? And so that all of that recognition happens on that soul level in those other dimensions, so that you can really flip that switch and create what you want in the 3D with no strings attached, with no nonsense, with no, she's the no bullshit queen, with no bullshit here, right? All of that gets cut away. We don't look back. We just say yes to the things that make us happy, and then our world forms around that matrix. So this is about self-acquaintance. It's about really discovering what your strengths are, what your values are, what your worth is all about. Where are your assets? Where's your treasure? Right? And what is so magical about your treasure that you want to share it with others? And what is your limitation? What is your expectation? How do you want to be met and witnessed and viewed and seen? And what's your bare minimum in terms of reciprocity? What are your red flags? You get to do all that work in the beginning of this year. And so when that door opens, and in the third and fourth quarters of this year, in the second half, you're already in business, right? You're already acquainted with what's going to work for you. So this is lovely, my Libra friends. You could have absolute magic going on by this time next year. Just work on this part of you up here in the beginning of this year. Trust it. Trust the process. Don't feel stuck by it. Don't feel like, don't confuse stagnation and stillness, right? Understand that sometimes you're not moving, and that's okay, because growth happens sometimes when you're not moving, right? And so you have to get where you're going within you before you can get there outside. So trust your process, right? Trust your process. You've got this, my Libra friends. I believe in you. And hit that subscribe button so you can tell me how this goes. And thanks for listening. Be blessed, and I'll see you in 2024. Take care.